He showed up to work every day, quiet, humble, invisible to most. But one afternoon, a single challenge changed everything. What started as a so-called friendly test of strength quickly became something far more disturbing, something that exposed not just power, but prejudice. In that moment, it wasn't just about a spar. It was about respect, dignity, and a cruel reminder of how easily lines are crossed. What happened inside that gym shocked everyone who saw it. But the real question is, why did it have to happen at all? Marcus was the kind of man most people overlooked. A quiet janitor, he spent his days sweeping floors, fixing leaks, and making sure others never had to think about the work he did. He didn't complain, didn't draw attention, just showed up, did his job, and went home. For Marcus, life was about keeping his head down and providing for his family. The gym where he worked was a place filled with noise, weights slamming, laughter echoing, fists pounding against punching bags. He kept it clean, moving silently through the chaos, invisible in the background. Most saw him as just the janitor, but Marcus had lived a life much harder than anyone there could imagine. Still, he endured the whispers, the dismissive stares, the way some people treated him like he didn't belong. It wasn't new. It was something he had felt in schools, in stores, even on the street. But in that gym, it weighed heavier. Every mop stroke reminded him of the distance between himself and the athletes who trained, cheered, and sparred like champions. Then came the moment that would shift everything. A challenge, one that seemed innocent, almost playful on the surface. A black belt fighter, confident and grinning, called Marcus out for a fun spar. To everyone else, it looked like a joke. To Marcus, it was something else entirely. He knew this wasn't just about fists or technique. It was about respect, about whether his dignity would be recognized or torn apart in front of everyone. At first, Marcus thought the challenge was a joke. A black belt fighter, broad-shouldered, loud, and well-liked in the gym, smirked as he called out, "Hey, janitor, how about a quick spar? Just for fun." The room chuckled, heads turned. For a moment, Marcus froze, mop still in hand. He wanted to laugh it off, to disappear into the background like always. But the laughter stung. This wasn't an invitation. It was a spectacle. Marcus shook his head politely and muttered something about work. But the fighter pressed. "Come on, man, don't be scared. Just a little friendly match." His voice was playful, but his eyes carried something else. A dare, a test. The kind of challenge that wasn't really meant to be refused. The crowd sensed it too. Phones came out, smirks spread. In that instant, Marcus wasn't a man doing his job. He was entertainment. Inside, a storm brewed. Marcus had faced this before, the subtle insults, the way people thought they could measure his worth, treat him like less because of who he was. But here, under the glaring lights of the gym, it was different. To walk away now would mean humiliation. To accept could mean something far worse. He set the mop aside. The room buzzed with anticipation. Someone tossed him a pair of worn gloves, laughing as if the outcome were already written. The black belt tightened his gear, grinning at the crowd. "This won't take long," he bragged. They stepped onto the mat. For Marcus, time slowed. He could hear his heart pounding in his ears, could feel the stares pressing against his skin. This wasn't just a spar. It was a test of dignity, a stage where everyone expected him to fail. The fighter lunged first, light and playful, almost mocking. Marcus raised his guard clumsily, absorbing the impact. Laughter erupted from the sidelines. "Come on, janitor, don't be shy," someone jeered. Each strike carried more force, more arrogance, until the playfulness disappeared and the blows landed sharp and heavy. This was no longer a game. It was punishment. Marcus staggered but refused to fall. Somewhere deep inside, years of quiet endurance ignited. Every insult, every dismissive glance, every time he was treated as invisible, it all boiled to the surface. He wasn't just fighting a man in that ring. He was fighting every moment he had been told he didn't belong. The crowd, once laughing, began to shift uneasily. The black belt's smirk had faded. His strikes grew sharper, frustrated that Marcus wasn't breaking. Each exchange pushed the tension higher, the air thick with disbelief. And then, something happened that no one expected. Marcus moved differently, quicker, sharper. His body remembered things his silence had long hidden. The fighter threw a heavy punch, and Marcus countered. The gym went silent. In that frozen moment, every eye was locked on him. The question hung heavy in the air. Would Marcus endure, or would he rise? The black belt came forward with everything he had now. No more mocking jabs, no more playful smirks. His strikes were heavy, fueled by anger that Marcus refused to collapse. The crowd had gone from laughing to holding their breath, phones raised higher, recording every second. This wasn't entertainment anymore. It was a battle. A kick slammed into Marcus's side. He staggered, the room spinning, but his feet stayed planted. Another blow cracked across his guard. Blood trickled from his lip. Still, he did not fall. Every time the fighter struck, Marcus absorbed it like a wall refusing to break. But then, something shifted. Marcus's silence turned into defiance. He stepped in, slipping past a punch, landing a clean counter to the black belt's jaw. Gasps filled the gym. The fighter's eyes widened. For the first time, he looked uncertain. Marcus pressed forward. Years of swallowed pride fueled his movements, each strike carrying the weight of a man who had endured far too much. The black belt swung again, but Marcus ducked, answering with a blow that sent his opponent stumbling back across the mat. The gym erupted, not with laughter this time, but with shock. The fighter's arrogance was gone, replaced by desperation. He charged, wild and reckless, but Marcus met him head-on. The two collided, fists and sweat flying, the sound of impact echoing through the gym. And then, in a flash, Marcus landed a strike so precise, so undeniable that the black belt crashed to the floor. Silence. Pure, heavy silence. Marcus stood over him, chest heaving, sweat dripping, eyes burning with something no one could ignore anymore. He hadn't just defended himself, he had shattered every assumption that had been placed on him. But even in victory, Marcus knew the fight wasn't really over, because the blows he had taken that day went far deeper than bruises. They were the reminder of something darker, something no single win could erase. And as the crowd stared, stunned and silent, the real question remained. Would they see him differently now? Or would they pretend nothing had changed at all? As the black belt struggled to his feet, the gym remained silent. No one laughed. No one cheered. Dozens of eyes shifted nervously, unable to process what they had just seen. The same man they mocked, the one they dismissed as invisible, had stood his ground and won. But for Marcus, it wasn't about victory. It was about something much heavier. He walked away that day not with triumph, but with questions that cut deeper than any punch. Why did it take a fight for them to see his worth? Why did his dignity have to be proven through pain? The bruises on his body would heal, but the scars of that moment would stay. Because what Marcus faced inside that gym wasn't just a sparring match. It was a reflection of the world outside. A world where respect is too often denied, where worth is questioned, and where being underestimated isn't an accident, it's a pattern. That fight revealed more than skill. It exposed the quiet, unspoken reality that so many live with every single day. Marcus's story is just one of countless others. Moments when people are pushed, tested, and humiliated simply because of who they are. And so the question remains, how many more times will it take? How many more Marcuses must endure these trials before dignity is recognized without a fight? This isn't just a story about a man in a gym. It's a story about all of us, about the way we look at others, the assumptions we make, and the humanity we sometimes forget to see. So the next time you witness injustice, big or small, ask yourself, will you stay silent or will you stand?